Hi everybody, it's Adam Rawson again from the Rawson Law Firm, and here we are in DUI season, otherwise known as holiday season. We want to avoid DUIs here, and let's talk about what we need to do to really be safe, be happy, be healthy, and have some fun, but not get arrested for DUI. So be careful, of course, okay? The police, especially in South Florida, they're out and about. This isn't April of this year where they stopped giving people DUIs and they stopped proactively policing. We're open, the bars are open, the police are open, they're out there looking for DUIs, and every year from really Halloween and through until New Year's, the police, they get extra funding and they really are looking for DUIs. It's a lot different. It's more than just if they stumble upon somebody who's driving unsafe. They have checkpoints, they have saturation patrols, they have more deputies and officers that are out on the streets cruising around saying, let me find a DUI tonight. So you have to be mindful of that. That's first and foremost. Understand that any bit of alcohol or drugs, right, the police are going to do a DUI investigation. So now let's go over just a few quick tips in case you are drinking and in case you do get stopped, right? Because people talk to us and ask us these questions all the time. So first of all, we always recommend don't answer any questions about alcohol consumption. The police are not your friends. They're going to say, hey, where are you going? Where are you coming from? How is the holiday party tonight? You don't have to answer them. We tell people don't lie, right? Because we don't want you to be a liar. But you are allowed to say respectfully, politely, officer, no thank you, I don't want to answer any questions. Or my lawyer's Adam, I don't want to talk without my lawyer present. And you do have that right. So that's number one. Number two, they might ask you to step outside the car and do the field sobriety exercises. You don't have to do them. You can say no. Now, a lot of times police officers will make it seem like you have no choice. They'll say, excuse me, sir, I want you to step outside the car and we're going to have you do some exercises. Okay, that's actually illegal. They're not allowed to do that, but they do. They do all the time. And you have the right to say no. To say, officer, no thank you. I'd like to speak to my lawyer. I don't want to do these. Politely, respectfully, no thank you. And then the next thing is a breath test, right? A breath, blood, or urine test. It's going to be a urine test if they think it's drugs. They only do blood in Florida if we're talking serious bodily injury or a DUI manslaughter, serious car crashes. So most of the time it's going to be a breath test. And you do have a right to say no thank you. Again, there are some consequences for that. There's a difference if it's your first DUI or your second DUI, or your first time refusing a breath test, or your second or third time refusing a breath test. So you have to be mindful of that, and it's always best to speak to a lawyer in depth before you make that decision. But you do have a right to say no thank you. There are consequences, like I said, but most of the time those consequences pale in comparison to a DUI conviction. So it's still, in my mind, a very easy decision to just say, officer, no thank you. And then there's a lack of physical scientific evidence against you in any case. Now, if you do blow, okay, it doesn't mean the case can't be won. A lot of breath cases can be won. That's one of the big DUI myths that we debunk in other videos. So check those out as well. We always recommend people make it simple, make it easy. You don't have to answer questions about alcohol consumption. You don't have to do the physical exercises, and you can say no to the breath test or a blood test or a urine test as well. Alcohol DUIs are still much more common, but drug DUIs are on the rise as well, because now more police officers than ever are getting trained in how to make DUI arrests for drugs. So be careful, right? Don't have any open containers in your car. Don't have any drugs in your car. If you're gonna, if you're gonna drink, get an Uber. If you're gonna use drugs or take prescription medication, which we see quite often, get an Uber. If you're gonna have a holiday party or go out for a fun night on the town, try to plan in advance. A lot of people, what we see is they'll have some drinks, they'll think they're okay, maybe they're tipsy, maybe they're a little buzzed, but they'll say, I don't want to leave my car here. My car might get towed, my car might get broken into. I'm in this kind of gross parking lot, and I don't know if my car's going to be here tomorrow morning. So they say screw it, and they risk it, and then they get a DUI. It's always a lot more money for that than it is to have your car towed or risk if there's any issues in the parking lot. But really what helps is if you plan in advance. So first and foremost, just plan your night. Take the extra 10 minutes, right? Spend the extra money on an Uber both ways if you have to. Trust me, it's well worth it when you're talking about what, a good DUI defense lawyer's attorney's fees are, fines, probation costs, jail, just all of the costs of DUI. And we've talked in other videos about that a first-time DUI could easily cost you up to $20,000, easily. So we really want people to avoid that at all costs. If you ever have any issues, feel free, give us a call, 754-206-6200. We'd love to talk and help you out. Have a good one.